Spectrum of Us podcast.
Chaos and comedy, where we explore life on the spectrum.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jennifer.
In each episode, we dive deep into life surrounding neurodivergence, exploring the complex and often comical dynamics between society, family, education, and more.
Through building understanding, we hope to build a community. So like and subscribe for more chaos and comedy as we explore life behind the scenes of neurodiversity. Welcome to our impromptu. We're moving.
Yes. Well,
we're moving. We've been in the throes of moving.
We're in the throes of moving, but today we have a really great topic, controversial, people on both sides of it. We've been talking about recently about how our neurodivergent children, the ones that we interact with on a daily basis, how they gravitate towards e-bikes and the different things, the positive things that are associated with it. We also talk about some of the negative things, how some people respond to that. And we just recently had a pretty major event in Colorado, and during that time there was an incident that took place.
Shout out to Mega Ride.
Mega Ride, absolutely.
Yep.
We hear you, Caddy. Listen, there have been, and I just want to make a comment to kick it off. I am the first person, as a retired police officer, I'm the first person to hold the people in my family actually to a higher level than I hold other people. I expect my family, because they know what I've done for a living, they know I'm a by the book kind of person, that I hold them accountable. When they make a mistake, because people make those. Children make mistakes. Children do things that we don't want them to do.
Wait, what?
Children will do things that we told them not to do.
Stop that.
Yes, they do. They do all those things. And
they're not perfect little humans that came out knowing how to do everything from the beginning, and they're just to be like seen and not heard. I don't even think they're supposed to be seen anymore.
I haven't met one yet.
Lock your kid in the room. Put him on video games.
I haven't met one yet. I believe the day that I meet the perfect person, it'll probably be the day that I leave here and I meet Jesus. Because I was told I was the only perfect person.
For real.
But with that being said, an incident that occurred, and it's been on our social media platforms, and people have been making comments about him. You know, oh, the kid shouldn't have done, he must have done something.
Okay, but wait. So, we had a post that's on my other page, because I have another page, Mama Tunes, because my older son, Stunt Tunes, LLC, rides motorcycles. He's a professional stunt motorcycle rider. And so he does this for a living, and also, it's his passion. And so people started naturally, in the community, started calling me Mama Tunes, Mama Tunes. Yeah. And so changed my name on the page because started posting stuff, whatever. We start going to these e-rides. And so I'm like, okay, well, it's appropriate to post some of this e-ride stuff and Stunt Tune stuff on my Mama Tunes page. And then we post one of the things that started off before, so when we got to Denver for the mega ride in Denver, before the ride was happening, we'd just gotten into town. Boys were exploring, just checking things out. They saw a beautiful sunset. And it was like sunset they had never seen, because that's one of the best things about going to these mega rides. They're always in a different place. And so they get to, we get to take our neurodivergent kids to some place that we probably wouldn't have been able to get them to go to, and see somewhere that they would have had no interest in going to. And so we get them there and we get to show them things that, other families get to go. Hey, we're going to go on a family vacation this summer, and we're going to go take a road trip, and we're going to go see Mount Rushmore, and we're going to go see Yellowstone, and we're going to go see the Colorado mountains. And their kids are like, wow, that's really cool, because their kids are, they think that's cool too. But when you have neurodivergent kids, they're like, why? And you're like, because it's really cool. It'd be really cool to see it. And they're like, why? And so trying to get them to go to these places is just a battle.
Absolutely.
And then, so we get this reason to take them to places. And so as parents, we're excited because they're going to see something. And we get to spend some time with them on a family vacation type of setting, which they also don't generally like participating in or participate in willingly, or it's a problem, or we just avoid it because we're exhausted, especially by the time they're teenagers. And then we go, and they get to, the reason that they're so motivated to go is because they get to meet up with a bunch of other people, families, other kids their age, whatever, that they have connected with at other rides or through social media who like the same thing. And it's the first time, or it's the only time where they get to interact with a whole bunch of other people and not feel different.
Yeah.
And not feel like there's anything wrong with them, or that they don't fit in, or that they don't do things right, or whatever. Like, they're in a group of people, they're in a community when they're with each other where we're all normal for us. And so they feel talented, they feel strong, they feel smart, that, you know, whether it's because they have created a product that they get to share with each other, or they can show each other how to work on their bike, or they get to show the coolness of their bike that they've done things to, or they do tricks, and so, you know, their friends are like, whoa, you could do that. Or there's just so many ways that they get to connect that they have no ability to do so in day-to-day life, because in their day-to-day life, they're constantly struggling.
Yes.
Right? It's like, I'm trying to fit my square peg into the circle hole of
whatever you
society.
Name it. School, after
School,
personal
sports,
friend group, sports,
church, whatever it is that, you know, you participate in your normal daily life. Every one of those things comes with challenge for them because they don't fit into the normal circle of socialness. And they come to these communities, where they gather, and they, for the first time, or for this time, they know that they're going to just feel regular. And watching that, seeing that, and knowing that your child has gone 12 years or 14 years or 18 years, or if you're an adult and you participate in these, you might have gone 45 years and you've always felt out of place, and you've always felt like it's always so hard to go to these social things because it's a lot of work for you to fit in. And for the first time, it's not hard. And it's just a bunch of people like you. Just like in normal society, we're not all the same, but, you know, like in typical settings, it's not a lot of work for people. You know, they go to their school, or they go to whatever, and it's just, you know, another thing.
Right.
But for these kids, everything is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they get to come here and it be just stress-free, and be around a bunch of people that they all get each other, you know, and there's no hate, and there's no all the things that they go through in school, you know, no bullying, no making fun of each other, no, all the things, except now the community has decided to completely turn on them and try to take away a really big thing that has become a really big part of their mental health. So, you know, they used to be holed up playing their video games in their room, and the parents were worried about them. And society was like screen time and kids and all this stuff, but we found somewhere for them and something for them to do where they're not on screen time and they're not at risk of pedophiles and human trafficking and
Just in cyberbullying and
cyberbullying,
sextortion and all the different things that
all the
happen
things
when you're online.
Yeah, and so they're out and they're doing these things, and they feel strong, and it's not hard, and they feel capable,
Yes.
and they're finding friends, and now society's like, put that thing away. The hate is just beyond comprehension, beyond, and people are like, oh well, they're just nuisances and they're doing all these things. There is a small handful, just like in anything. There's always a small handful of people who are going to do something too much, be too dangerous, be too crazy, whatever. But in this thing, everybody's decided that all kids who ride e-bikes are a menace. E-bikes have now been rebranded because society decided to call them e-motorcycles, which, for the record, if you ride a motorcycle, you're offended. Because stunt tunes is like, excuse you, that's not a motorcycle.
Well, listen.
He's like, even the fast ones.
Well,
even the fast ones are not a motorcycle. It's not an e-motorcycle. Sorry, it's not.
I just have to, and I thank you for saying that, because I want people to understand. Anyone who's out here listening, hearing to this, if this registers for you or not, we're talking about kids on bicycles.
But they want to play semantics. They want to go, well, no, because they're not pedaling.
No, but even if that were the case, I'm outside on a bicycle, whether it's on two wheels, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's a motorcycle, how it's self-propelled, however, it's outside. We're not talking about people who are robbing people, who are hurting. I mean, there's so much more.
Let's just talk about that. Because for people who have found this as adults, a lot of them will tell you that they came from a life where before they had bikes, before they had e-bikes, not just a bicycle, but before they had an e-bike, they had an addiction problem. And it consumed everything, right? Because even people who are not active in addiction, they're fighting every day the addiction still. So, what is that noise?
Yes. That's Robbie.
Oh, hi, Robbie. We're moving. It's just kind of come with the territory. Construction zone.
Hold. You want to just have them just take a break?
No, it's fine. It's just real.
Listen, so I'm just going to pull you back into it. It's about, we were talking about how adults who
they're fighting addiction.
They're
fighting addiction, or they've been recovering addicts for years, but they still were. It's so hard. The daily battle, and that they found e-bikes, and this is where they put. So there's something about it. I don't know what it is, but there's something about it that is creating or recreating or rewiring or circumventing. It's doing something, and I don't know what it is because I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a neuropsych person who knows why the brain is getting recircuited from this thing. But what I see and what I know to be true from their own words is that this is something that they can replace their addiction with. And we do know that that's key to addiction. You got to replace it with something in order to be successful long term. And so they're like, this is life. This is like breathing for them. This is giving me this outlet. So it only stands to reason that if it's doing that for an adult, that they can verbalize that, that this could be preventing a bunch of teenagers out here who have nothing better to do with themselves. And what are they going to do? They're going to find drugs. They're going to find nonsense. They're going to find trouble.
They're going to fill the space.
Yeah.
If there's a void of them nothing to do, they will find something to fill the void.
And also, I think what people really, really misunderstand and underestimate is how at risk neurodivergent teenagers are of being susceptible to addiction.
Yeah.
Because they want
I want acceptance.
relief.
They
Well, it's
want
not just
relief.
acceptance.
Yeah.
They want relief. If you have ADHD, I can tell you from my personal experience and from what I've heard from my children. If you have ADHD, for some of us, it's like your brain never stops. It's like your nervous system never stops. It's like, can you imagine if you're not this way and you just get to shut down and you just get to like exist in the world, having control over your everything, right? Your nervous system, your thoughts, racing thoughts, you don't have those things, right? You have control over it all. Well, for some of us, there's no controlling it. It's learning to live with it. It's my nervous system is like on fire all the time, and I'm learning how to tolerate that feeling. As a teenager, you're not tolerating it. You're already like your hormones are on fire, everything's out of whack, and now and on top of it, you're already a kid who your nervous system's on fire. You feel like, things are vibrating and you feel like there's so much input, there's so much stuff going on. So you're already like overly sensitive to so much stuff. And if they get their hands on any way to relieve that discomfort as a teenager, they're like, oh, thank you, Lord Jesus. My brain stopped for a minute. This is what normal people feel like. The quiet, the stop, I didn't have to figure out. I remember being a kid and laying in bed and, my parents just telling me, count backwards from 100, count sheep, sing songs to yourself, like so many, all these things. And I would just sit there and like, it was exhausting and still I wasn't going to sleep. Yeah, hours. I'm sure it was hours that it took me to fall asleep. My dad would read me a story. My parents would, they'd do the bath, the story, the everything, all the right things that you're supposed to do to try to calm a kid down before bed. And then I'm still sitting there for, 3-4 hours before I would at some point go to sleep. And what did I do? Wake up first thing in the morning. So it's chronically sleep deprived on top of it. So you're chronically sleep deprived. Now you're starting to experience some mental health problems as a teenager. Now you've got hormones on top of it. And then my little friend here gives me something.
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Insert
and whatever. Yeah. Insert substance. And it all stops just like that. And they're teenagers, they don't think that, they don't think they're going to die. They don't even understand the real concept of death yet. They don't understand, that goes to the whole, like, they think they're invincible, so they really don't understand, that you can die, things can happen. And then they're neurodivergent, and then there are all these other things. And so addiction is such a big concept. It's so abstract to them. It's so far out of, unless they've dealt with seeing how bad that can end for someone directly in their life. Because remember, if we've never seen it, we can't imagine it too.
Yeah.
So they're just like, yeah, whatever. I feel great right now. Maybe it makes it so that I can be social. Maybe it makes it so that I can actually like feel normal in the room. Maybe it makes it so that I can sleep. Maybe it makes it so that my body doesn't hurt because I end up with weird feelings in my body that hurt. Maybe I have stomach aches and stuff because my anxiety is on fire and I don't realize that the stomach aches are actually my body having a reaction to my anxiety. All I know is that I have pain emotionally, physically. I have discomfort emotionally, physically. And somebody gave me this substance and it feels amazing. And then we're an addict. Or we give them an e-bike. And wham, we've got a similar phenomenon going on, right? I'm going to guess it's a dopamine hit. I'm going to guess. There's something, it gives them that same dopamine hit.
It's being on there, it's going fast, it's going there, yes, absolutely.
And yes, it's pushing the limits, and it's I could die, and it's all the things. As a parent, yep.
But let's not forget, and thank you again for saying it the way you said it, we are talking about a recreational toy.
Yeah. Well, but people say, but that recreational toy, it can go 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, And the reality is, when they cited the first vehicles that they had, the motorized vehicles, that when we moved away from horse-drawn carriage, they went several miles an hour, like, oh, we're going to kill each other.
Okay, but wait. Let's talk about the horses. How come nobody gets upset about how fast the horses can go? Because, I just went to the rodeo this weekend, and I watched some pretty fast barrel racing horses. I watched some pretty crazy, back and forth on the horse and the.
No, they were doing the bucking there, right?
And I watched all kinds of danger, and I am pretty sure. Just gonna take a guess, but I'm pretty sure those people have been doing it since they were kids.
No, that's how they're able to get into
pretty sure.
it. It is
pretty sure they sat on a horse when they were couldn't even walk.
And they don't care about it, but it still happens.
No, because if
still exists.
If the little kids out there riding the horse were isn't that cute and so wholesome?
Right, until they fall off.
Yeah, and they fall off, right? They fall off, and nobody's going, oh my God, you need to protect your children. Don't let them ride horses. Don't let them ride horses. Don't let them go fast. Don't let them, all the things. What about surfing? Yeah. Do people think that surfers who are in those surf competitions, do they think that those people just waited till they were 18 and then learned how to surf?
Listen,
they were on a surfboard as a baby on their dad's shoulders. I promise you.
I remember one of my older daughters in high school. Two of them. It actually happened to two of them when they were running hurdles.
Yeah.
And hit that hurdle and went face first into the ground.
Yeah.
At no point did I go, oh, well, we shouldn't be
Oh,
running
my
this
God.
race
Protect
no
your child.
Yeah, no, listen.
How dare you let them run that fast, Kevin?
I understand people being annoyed. I understand people not understanding. Because we often fear what we don't understand. Mm-hmm. Right? These are kids who are outside. And we're literally having a conversation because there are people out there. There was an older gentleman who I assumed have got through his life because he's still here. Ain't nobody knocked him off yet. You got here for you, luckily.
Shocking.
Luckily, because I'm here to tell you. Because anyone who thought that was an okay thing to do.
Yeah.
The scenario I want to change for you is, what if I had been with my son?
Right.
What if as a black man,
right,
would have had been sitting on the bench,
right,
and I got up and went and I got in that guy's face and intimidated him the way he intimidated my son.
Oh yeah, can you imagine? You imagine the escalation?
And, yeah, threaten him the way he threatened my son.
Well, at this point, people have seen it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's viral now. So people have been seeing it, and the amount of comments where they're like, "Oh, wish it would have been my kid, and I'd have been there," because that had ended differently, and I'm just like, for real though, I'm not even thinking about what's right and wrong. I'm just thinking about how people lose their minds, right? And how people are unpredictable. And so in your mind, dude, do you not even have any regard for your own personal safety? Because you put your hand. So what isn't seen on that video is the setting.
Yeah.
And so everybody's making a whole bunch of assumptions about what precipitated it. I can tell you. 2 boys rode their bikes, attended. Parents watched them ride their bikes calmly into the park to see the sunset that they had never seen anything like it before and thought it was so gorgeous. Now, they see gorgeous sunsets where they live.
Yes.
But they'd never seen one like this because it was in Denver and it was in the mountains and it was summer and it was whatever about it made them go, whoa, we want to get a picture of our bikes with the sunset in the background. If that isn't as little kid sweet as it gets, I don't know what is, because like they're in love with their bikes like nobody's business, right?
Yes.
So they're like, I want to get my bike with the sunset. I want to get this great picture. That's why they were in the park, people. They weren't in the park to cause problems. They weren't in, so let's just, that's why they were in the park, to get a picture of their bike with the sunset. Mom, who was with them, headed off home because they were going to come home right after that. And, she couldn't drive her car into the park. She didn't really need a picture of her car with the sunset. So went home, and this man approaches my son's friend first and screams at him, pushes him. So just so we're clear, the kids weren't even on their bikes when he started with his bullshit. And he pushes the friend and screaming at him. And that's when my son then was like, oh, we got a live one. He gets on his bike to start to roll out, right? Because he figures his friend's going to get on his bike and they're just going to kind of roll on out. But when he sees the dude push his friend, he goes, hey, dude, you can't put your hands on him. He's a minor. And the dude comes over. That just made him more mad. And he, according to the friend, pushed my son so hard he almost got him off his bike. Now, my son's pretty athletic, got good balance, so it didn't work. But that is where the friend started taping. And he was like, this is not good. I don't know what this dude's going to do. So he started videoing, and that's what we see in the video. And all you see is my son just like, dude, get out of here. And then he just leaves, right? You don't see my son all of a sudden getting, the way that I would have probably gotten.
But let's play on that a little bit, because one of the things we've talked about previously is how our neurodivergent children present neurotypical. Mm-hmm. He approached a kid. Yeah. He had no idea that this kid that he was approaching, and the reason why he was
had disabilities.
So he was standing there because he's autistic.
Yeah, the reason that he's looks blank is because his brain is like exploding.
He doesn't present.
He doesn't know what is going on, so he's just shut down, and he's like, "Whoa, I got to get out of here."
Yeah. Now, I've said this before, which it's like getting mad at a blind person for not seeing. Mm-hmm. To be yelling at that kid, you don't know the kid, which is why for anyone who says, "Well, he had a right," no, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
If he thought they were doing something illegal, we have, what's that number?
Oh, 911. What?
Yes, 911. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Which, by the way,
please do.
If it had been any other kid that looked any kind of way, that's exactly what he would have done.
Oh, yeah.
But because our son looked like him, he thought, I'm going to go get in this kid's face.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'd love to see you. Yeah. There's no way he would have gone and gotten in any other kid's face that didn't look like him.
He did that. He jumped in there to get out of the park as if somehow he owns the park. Now, if did it happen that he came upon them doing donuts? Mm-hmm. They were running.
Oh, I'm sure he'll claim they were doing all kinds of stuff now because he looks like such a fucking idiot.
Yeah, you could say that. However, look at the video, right? They're sitting. They might have moved. There's no damage anywhere around you.
No, because did anybody post any viral videos of kids tearing it up in the park that night? No. Believe they would have, because believe that everyone is posting all their hate about these kids on their bikes, right? So we don't have to worry about y'all advocating for yourselves, because y'all been advocating for yourselves really well. You know what I mean? That's all we hear is about how, horrible this is, and you're posting every opportunity you have to show any kids doing anything wrong everywhere. So nobody's going to believe that somehow kids were doing something wrong in the park that day and nobody got it on video. Please. That's what people live for right now.
Yeah, well, let me tell you what I live for. I was upset that it occurred. And again, if he felt like he had done something wrong, there's a way for us to correct it.
Right.
My goal is to have my children interact with the community.
Yeah.
And if they make a mistake or they have a mishap or they do something wrong, someone notifies me so I can come out there and we can do the self-correction there.
Right.
Can you imagine if he said, hey, I don't like whatever it is you did, or I don't like you in the park, whatever, get your dad on the phone.
Oh, yeah, because our son knows.
Yes.
He actually 100% knows if a grown-up walks up to you or approaches you or whatever and says, call your dad, call your parents, where are your parents? Because neurodivergent kids, oftentimes, once they learn something, that they're never going to let it go. One of the things he never lets go of is, I'm going to call my dad. So he calls you, and immediately. Yes. And even if he knows that this parent is mad, or, people who are like, oh, he's not going to call you if he thinks he's in trouble. No, he will call. Because of his disability, he just knows, I'm in danger. I need my person. And he knows that we will come. And so it's this place where we're trying to let him learn how to be in the world without us holding his hand and babysitting and bubble wrapping him, and because he's going to have to be out in the world without us, you know. And so you're doing it in small doses. You're doing it in doses where they go out there and they have to have plans for when things don't go right? So if it's going to happen, but imagine, where you're going to do something that's going to make a grown-up mad.
Exactly.
So when they get mad at you, call us.
Imagine the conversation that we could have with him.
Yeah.
Me and that gentleman.
Right. Whatever it was that he did that upset you.
That got you like that. The conversation that this is why it doesn't happen. And then he learns.
Right.
Oh, wow. I see this person. Boom, I understand. I did this.
We've had it because we've had that occasionally.
Yes.
Happen. Police have contact with him. He stops every single time. He knows the police make contact with you. You stop. You don't run. You stop. You talk to them.
Yep.
You ask them to call your parents so that we can come down and assist in that conversation, and also so we can be there. And every time it's been positive. So he doesn't have, even when the interaction has started out with the police officer being super aggressive, which we've had that.
Yes.
Super aggressive, angry police officer. Once we get the parent there and just the aggressive police officer seeing that he's not going to be combative back to them will bring his aggression down.
Yes.
And then, you show up and then, we have a constructive conversation. It's always been positive. It's never been a bad lesson to learn. This was not constructive.
No, because it's about, and I hate.
it is now, but
I hate that we live in this place where we don't want to help like that young person. You don't see that young. He didn't see him as somebody that he needed to correct.
Right.
He saw it as somebody I need to punish. I need to banish.
Right, because your parents clearly haven't parented you, so I'll parent you. Okay, first of all, if that's how you parent your children, I'm sorry. Second of all, if you even have children. Third,
fourth.
Karen, get your man.
Fourth, he's very lucky. He's lucky that instead of the phone call, he came home. And then by the time he got to me and I was ready to go to the park, it was later in the evening and he was gone. Because I promise you, I promise you, it would have been a different conversation. If I had been in the park when he jumped in his face.
Like, how do you do that and not worry about your own personal safety?
And filmed me and said, "Look at this man.
How
dare he do that?" That's exactly what would have happened.
That's exactly what would have happened.
Exactly what would happen.
It would have been, look at this angry black man.
Listen.
Yelling at this middle-aged, tiny little white man.
Excuse me. Either all of the above, and that's the problem. The problem is, as a group, as a society, we no longer look out for each other. But you want my son.
Yeah. To do better than you?
To do better than you. You want him to, you want the 12-year-old to be the mature person. Because that's what happened. Because in that video, that's what you saw.
If we're going to say, because this is what I see in the comments too, is we stopped protecting the kids when they started basically acting like little assholes. Well, FYI, they're following the examples that they've been given. So I just want to take people back in time because I've watched the progression. Because I've been fortunate enough to have children over a 20-year span, it really spanned about 3 generations because of those years that it fell across. Spanned about 3 generations of watching an evolution of parenting from where my oldest to my youngest. And one of the overarching biggest problems I've seen is the parents bullying each other in front of their children, the parents bullying other people's children when their parents aren't around. And that is vastly different from where it used to be when the kids weren't acting like assholes. If you want to put it in context and have that conversation, I'm going to say to you, there was a time when I was coming up, when my oldest was coming up, where as parents, we did group parent. We absolutely group parented. So if I'm at the park and your kid's acting crazy, I'm coming up, but I'm interacting with your kid in a way that is also respectful of you as their parent. And it is setting an example because I know that these kids are watching us. And so how do I want them to learn how we act when we don't like something we see? When I don't like what you're doing, how do I act towards you? Right? And so we group parented like that. And our parents group parented like that. And then what we saw was this disconnect where, and it correlates with social media, unfortunately, where the parents started bullying each other. So people are talking all the time about how girls bully each other on social media, but they're not talking about how the parents do it. Yeah. So it's not just teenage girls doing it. It's teenage girls' parents. It's teenagers' parents. It's a lot of times women, unfortunately, but they're shaming each other.
The number of
they're yelling at, they're saying, and so now when they do deal with kids in real life, right? Other people's children, they're not even setting a good example. They don't even care anymore.
The number of times, as a school resource officer, that I had a parent come up to the school with their child to fight another child.
Yes.
That's not a joke.
No.
It happened frequently.
Yeah.
Mostly, and this is how ridiculous it is, at the end of the school year. The last month of school, you had to be on alert because you would see parents of some of the students come up, bring their child to the school to fight another student. And then, and the mother or auntie or whoever, the guardian, would not let them, you come in here and fight. You kick her ass, let's go, and stand there. And sometimes jump in. And,
you're just thinking to yourself, like, you want to know when they started acting like assholes? When you started acting like an asshole. When you started being unable to communicate because you guys all stopped interacting with each other in normal ways, because you all are on social media. You all are on your phones at the dinner table, at the restaurants, not interacting with each other. Your children don't know how to have normal conversations. Your children don't know how to interact in their own family, much less outside of their family. You know, they go to school, and now school can't give you any, character building lessons whatsoever. And so they act like little assholes there, and they're not corrected because they're not allowed to. They come home, you're on your social media, and they're on their social media, and you all are comfortable this way because in your mind, everything is great because they're quiet and they're in their room. And then you see kids out there and you're like, why are these kids little assholes? And I'm like, because you fucked it up, man. Well, you fucked up how we interact with each other. And you guys, adults, because let's just do a for example, right? For example, if you don't like what they're doing, how about you? Because if you're brave enough to walk up to them and scream at them like that, then don't tell me you're not brave enough to walk up to them and have a normal conversation, right? So don't tell me, well, I'm afraid of what they'll do to me. Bullshit. Because you were fine walking up to him and getting in his face. But let's say, what if you walked up to him and said, hey, man, because let's say he's acting crazy, he's doing donuts, he's tearing up the grass, he's being disrespectful, he's running people off the sidewalk, right? Let's just say that's what happened. And you walk up to him and you go, hey, man, what are you doing? What if the kid stopped? What if he was like, what? Because I'm here to tell you, because that's what I do with kids. They stop all the time. They don't take off. They don't act. I mean, they might be like defensive because they're waiting for you to do what he did, because that's what they're used to. They are used to being verbally assaulted all the time. And so they're startled actually when you are rational. So when you're like, hey, man, what are you doing? What? Dude, you're ruining the grass. Do you see that? You practically ran over that little baby over there, and you almost ran over that lady, and like, do you realize what you're doing? I didn't do that. Okay, man, call your mom. I need you to call your parents. They literally sit there because they still have that little kid side of them, where a grown-up told me to call my parents, so now I got to call my parents.
Yeah, they're processing.
They do.
And again, so many different ways that something like that could have gone. But if I'm being honest, that was the video we had. That was the video that was posted. But that wasn't the only incident.
Oh, gosh.
During that event.
We have so much footage.
The number of people who got frustrated because the ride was going slower than their vehicles and they couldn't get to where they want. So they just decided, I'm going to run through the back. These are thousands of kids riding. I'm going to run through the back.
You can see a pack of people for a mile ahead of you. There's nowhere to go. But you got frustrated because you want to get to wherever you're going to. And all of a sudden they're trying to run into the group of people. So your frustration all of a sudden warranted what? Manslaughter? What happens if you kill somebody on one of those bikes? It doesn't matter at that point that what they were doing was legal. I promise you. You don't get to go, well,
as a former
it's
police
okay
officer,
that I killed them because they were doing something illegal.
Yeah. Well, as a former police officer, I can tell you it's the same as this. If I had my car parked in the middle of the street, like I just parked in the middle, I'm going to run in. I'm going to run in this house and get something.
Right.
So I'm going to leave it in the middle of the street. And you driving by and you run into the back of my car, you say, why would that car be parked in the middle of the street? It was parked illegally.
Yeah.
Who's the at-fault driver?
The one who ran into him.
You are. Because you're still supposed to go around. And I would say, and that's how this works,
right?
People.
It's like pedestrians are still, like, even if they're jaywalking, even if they're walking down the middle of the freeway, you can't pick them off.
Yes, you can't go, I want to get there, so I'm going to go. It's a half a mile that way, and there's 300 kids on bikes and I'm just going to go through and plow down as many as I can
Plow
because they
down.
shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
This is the kind of mentality that people have.
Yeah.
And you
And
can
the worst part, this is the mentality they have. But I think what's even more egregious is that our police departments and our communities are supporting it.
Yeah.
When we see police officers get out of their car and start trying to intentionally just wreck these people on their bikes,
Yeah. Clotheslining them.
pulling their handlebars so that they wreck. When we see a police officer go into a pack, like putting his own safety at risk, I want to know about where you missed that chapter in your officer safety.
Yeah.
Number two, what crime was being committed that warranted that level of force? Because I'm pretty sure y'all have standards about the level of force having to meet a certain threshold based on whatever crime is being, reported at the time, right? So a pack of people are going down and you just randomly chose this kid or that kid to clothesline and try to wreck or grab them and try to pull them off their bike. Why that kid? Why not the other 1,000 kids? There's no way you can tell me that kid did whatever. Yeah. I promise you, these kids are going too fast for that. They're going 30 miles an hour, going 20 miles an hour. It's not, I was following that kid. No, you weren't, jackass. No. You pulled up on the side street and you got out of your car and all of a sudden your testosterone was out of control and, you were going to try to do something and get one and make an example of them. But at the end of the day, I'm just thinking to myself, how do I trust you, Mr. Policeman, to be able to de-escalate a real problem, a real crime, if you can't even keep your own emotions under control when you see a pack of kids going down the road?
Yeah.
How am I to trust that?
Well, you can't.
No, because I'm seeing that you don't have control over yourself and you're a policeman. And you are so irate about this that you have now put your own safety at risk. You're clearly not able to go to respond to any real call that needs your attention because now you've decided this is important, right? So God forbid that there's an armed robbery or a woman getting beaten or a child being, stolen, real problems. Drugs being sold.
No, look,
I don't know. Store being broken into.
As a former law enforcement officer, it was bewildering and wildly inappropriate to see that. But
how embarrassing! I would be so embarrassed if I was a police officer and I saw other police officers acting like that. I'd be like, "Thanks for making us all look like shit right now."
Because you did nothing. You did nothing, and if you had hurt someone, you not only would have put that kid at risk, but then you would have put the entire city. Because if it had been my kid, believe me, we would have been changing the name from Denver, Colorado to Stuckey, Colorado.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I own everything.
For sure.
Because what are you doing? Like for what?
For what?
For what?
I mean that's the question at the end of the day is what about this is warranting that level of aggression? And you cannot tell me anything about what they're doing because I know everything that they do.
Yeah. Well,
it is warranting that. And I can tell you what it's stopping, though. I can tell you that that's 1,500 kids that were out for 4 or 5 hours who weren't doing drugs in your city. Mm-hmm. That's 1,500 kids who were not looting any building whatsoever.
Wasn't running in the stores.
They were not stealing anything. They were not shoplifting. They were not setting fires. They were not stealing cars. Let me list the things that those same teenagers were not doing because they were doing this.
Yeah. No, and just to go back again, these kids are neurodivergent kids. Mm-hmm. You yelling, you acting that out. They don't. what they understood from that, the example they got from that officer who was clotheslining them, was that he reinforced every stereotype they've ever had.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
He reinforced every He made videos. They loved it because
they
all posted
videoed
about
the
it.
shit out of him.
And you reinforced.
Kids
every
turned
stereotype.
around, so he made it more dangerous because kids turned around in the middle of the ride, and they came back and circled in parking lots around to video his activities, and so then that's causing all kinds of. Yeah. In the intersection that he had stopped at, now he's making more problems in an intersection. Can you imagine if there'd been an accident in that intersection? He'd have tried to make it like it was Mega Ride's fault, but really it was your fault, dude. Because Mega Ride didn't cause an accident anywhere. Mega Ride has never caused an accident anywhere.
But let's go back to it. Not just that officer, not just that guy, but for everybody out there. What warrants the negative?
The hate. It's not just negative. I mean, it's hate.
What started? Where does that come from?
Right. Why? Well,
why do you have it? What is happening when you see a kid on an e-bike?
Right.
Right. Well, he's going fast. No, actually, it's not. Or he's
well,
doing
they keep
a wheelie.
saying things that are getting wildly out of proportion. They're endangering public safety. That's what I hear. They're endangering public safety. And I'm like, how? Oh, they're darting in and out of cars, darting in and out of traffic. I see bicyclists do that all the time. I see motorcyclists do it all the time. You don't have a hate campaign on that. You just don't like it. None of us like it. When the motorcyclist goes 100 miles an hour, boom, past me, startles the shit out of me. I don't like it. I don't start a whole hate campaign about it.
Well,
it's just, it just sucks.
Again, it's because people have that. They need something to do. They need something to complain about. They need something to say, hey, that's wrong.
Well, and they're all bonding over it.
Yeah, because
at a level that is out of control. And they're going to have something happen. Here's the thing. We all want to talk about, well, these kids are going to die and you don't care about your kid or whatever. That's a whole other conversation. But if you really are concerned about that, then why are you escalating things? Why are you making it worse? Because you're escalating things. You are escalating it with your hate, and then the community comes in and supports that, and then the police come in and they support that. And so everybody, all the adults are escalating something. They want us to focus on this being the problem, but guess what? You guys are starting to make the focus on you because your reaction is becoming the problem.
If you look at the pictures and the videos that you see from the weekend, I challenge anyone to show me anyone frowning. All you saw was smiles, right? So the people were having a good time. They smiled.
Without substances.
They did all these things. This is what's happening. You don't know, when you're mad about that, what you say to me is, you don't know how to be happy. You don't know what to do when things are going right. Yeah. We find that there's something that was finally invented that got the kids out of the house, that we don't have to worry about 764 and all these internet groups cyberbullying them and trafficking them and getting them to do all kinds of crazy things that are happening.
We got them off the screens, people.
We got them
outside. And now you're going to complain about how we got them off the screens.
Now you're talking about how dare they be outside.
Or, what happened to old-fashioned bicycles?
Well,
they're old-fashioned.
Well, here's the thing. You show me somebody who said, I dare somebody to say that to me, because then I want to go to their house and I want them to pull out their 13-inch black and white TV. And you better not have an LED TV in your house, because it's called evolution.
Right.
The technology advanced.
And don't let me find a Tesla in your garage.
Come on.
Because why electric bikes?
First of all, you better not.
And if you have ever ridden an electric bike, I'm here to tell you, you find out real quick how physical it actually is. It's not just like hop on and ride.
Listen, you better have an internal combustion engine built from the 60s. I don't want none of this new stuff.
No.
You better not have a cell phone, because you better have I can only call you.
In fact, why do you
landline.
have social media?
Yeah, why do you, exactly?
Newfangled.
These fast. It's called evolution. It's the trajectory. We have an opportunity. If you don't like something, right? This is what we talk about with change, right? Because now you got me on my soapbox. This is what we're talking about with change, right? Change is a wave. Imagine it's a wave, water, right? And then you see in the middle of the water, there's a rock, right? And that rock is we're fighting change. We don't want the change. We're going to
stay right here.
Stand right here. We're not going with it. And then what you do is you see the wave crash against the rock. And what you assume when you see that, because it looks to crash.
Well, because the wave is breaking every time,
look,
right?
And you think the rock is winning.
And they're not.
But what you don't see is that every time that wave hits the rock, pieces of it fall away.
Yep.
So eventually the wave wins.
Yep.
And remember, the wave is change. Yep. Change will happen.
That's the only thing that doesn't change.
The one thing but what you can do, if you want it to be different, if you see, wait a minute, well, I don't want it to go that way, I want it to go this way, then you become a part of the wave. Yeah. You join the wave.
Figure out.
And you direct it.
Right. Take the rock and move it somewhere else. Figure it out.
You stop being the rock and become the wave. And that way the rock's going to go.
Yep.
You got to be a part of the change.
Yep.
Be a part of the change, and then you're a part of the force.
Yep.
Because change isn't going to stop.
Nope.
And it's an opportunity to be a part of doing something, because it's not.
Because clearly y'all need something to do with yourself.
Listen, you saw the number of bikes that were out there. It's only people are buying them, they're selling them. Ain't nobody said one time we're going to outlaw the selling of e-bikes. You can't sell it.
Yeah, that's
anybody.
That's what's really curious to me. Actually,
how dare you be on it? Well, they're selling them like hotcakes.
How dare you buy one for your child?
They're selling them like hotcakes, and people are buying more and more every day. Yep. So it's not going to be a part of the wave. You can be the rock, and you look good in the pictures. But
for a minute.
Over time, the wave wins, because change always wins. Because if it didn't, we'd still be in those horse-drawn carriages. We'd still be wearing T-shirts, and instead of washing, we were putting baby powder all over ourselves. Remember.
We wouldn't have skate parks.
This is the same country that didn't brush their teeth a lot, didn't have no soap, and only wash once a month, because there were people who believed that you wash the seasonings off you. That's what happened. That's a part of our country. I'm not making it up. Go back and look. I bathe twice a day. Got through several fragrances.
You have issues.
We
need to talk about it.
We're not talking about my tisms. So
okay. All right.
Anyway, hey.
Hey.
So please join the conversation, whether it be positive or negative.
Yeah.
Join the conversation, because we're trying to be a part of the wave. Come join the wave.
Well, and also for anybody out there, we're fighting back. So this is the movement that we're starting, because you know what? There's plenty of people out there talking about, how wrong this is, how not okay it is, how whatever. So, this is a movement.
Yeah.
Where we're fighting back. We're saying, enough is enough on your side. Yeah. Enough is enough from what you guys are doing. Give us solutions, not outlawing. That's not going to work.
If you see my child, or any child for that matter,
why don't you try to actually be a good example?
Take an opportunity to speak to the child.
Yeah. If you don't like what they're doing, that's okay.
But if you put your hands on them, understand that every one of those people, those little people, have people that are bigger.
Yep.
And if you
don't know who their people are, that is so dangerous.
Run up on one of mine. Let me tell you, because I listen. If I'm telling you, it would have been a different scenario if I had been in that park. If I could have got to that park and caught him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm sorry, wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
Anyway, please
follow, like,
and subscribe. And join. Come on, join the wave.
All of it.
Yes, that's when we put a T-shirt. It's gonna say, "For what?" For what? All right, thank you.